your frequency. I'm Brian Sexton, joined by Michele McManamon from Operation New Uniform, and you know what we're here to do. We're here to find out who she is and what Operation New Uniform is all about, where they're headed, and what it takes to achieve their goals. How are you?
I am blessed beyond measure.
10 years with ONU.
10
Does it seem
years.
possible?
No. I mean, sometimes I wonder, it's like, how did this go so quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just flew by.
And it grew from one
veteran that we scholared through our sailor training program to
To
now
hundreds?
almost 600.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've got a lot of great success stories,
Unbelievable.
but I'm sure there's a lot more you want to tell, right? I mean, listen, and I asked you this earlier. There are so many, in watching the political conventions, so many issues, veteran issues. And it seems like there's a lot of resources poured in there. Why then do you suppose that we still have so many veterans in need?
Yeah, that's an unbelievable question because it's so much.
Yeah.
I think that the government tries to do the best they can. They have done some great things to improve their programs. They have something called TAPS when they leave, the Transition Assistance Program. And it serves a great purpose. We're an extension of what they do. We're not the end-all to be-all at Operation Uniform. What we do is after they're there and they find out all their resources, they get their book, 3-ring binder of a bunch of stuff, and then they feel lost when they come out, and then they try to throw out resumes and spit them against the wall like spaghetti. And after that, they're frustrated and they're underemployed or they're unemployed, and that's when we seem to find them or they find us.
What's the first thing you do to get a veteran back on track?
So I think the first thing you got to think about is we're getting more and more active duty members, which is incredible. So our students, our alumni are telling their friends that are still active duty to check them out now,
Right.
because you don't want to have to go through the pain that their battle buddies have gone through. So find them now. We're getting them, they're coming a year or 2 years before they're even getting out, and we're like, ooh, whoa, that's a little too soon. But about 3-4 months before, we want to start getting you into the fold so we can just try to help you not make all the mistakes everybody else has or seems to have.
You said underemployed. Is that them not understanding their value?
100%. When you think about have you ever been in a position, maybe when you were younger, that you took a job, is what we call it. You took a job and it wasn't really like you felt like you could do more, but right now you needed the money and you got into something just because you had to.
Right.
You felt like you had to. That's what's happening. Or somebody told them, you know what, this is what you did in the military, it doesn't translate into what the business community is doing. So just do this. Or going in the ground in the bottom. And sometimes you do have to start lower, but starting down here, if you have 2 masters and you have all this experience in the military, you don't start there. But you have to network. If I can teach anybody anything through this program, is learn how to network.
Guess you don't really do a lot of networking in the military, do you? There's some limited opportunities for it, and probably at the officer level.
Correct.
But in terms of enlisted men, you're working.
Yeah.
You're not networking, you're working.
Right, exactly. So networking, you and I know, in the business community, and the first time that I went and spoke to a group of veterans that had just come out, and I started rattling things off like, have you gotten involved with the chamber? Have you gotten involved with the business journal? And I'm rattling off all these things, the Rotary. Have you thought about going to any of those? And I'll take you pro bono, come with me. They're looking at me like I had 3 heads. I didn't realize they didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
So when we say networking, we know that there's places out there that are very effective to meet other people that can potentially help you either build your business or help you get a career or whatever it is. For our military members, they pretty much networked in the military, and there really isn't a connection. As far as we've seen, I've only been doing this 10 years, so there could be
Only 10 years, right?
that others have. But you understand what that happens. It's very scary.
Right. Because again, you get so focused on just taking a step forward that you can't look 2 or 3 steps ahead, which is what networking is trying to see what your next step might be.
Right. Or just having a conversation with a total stranger. I intimidated this group because I was inviting them to a place to go talk to a bunch of strangers and give them a 30-second commercial on how they can sell themselves and what they did in the military to what they're, wanting to do now. And that was frightening.
Right.
I mean, I don't have to stand up and speak like that to anybody. And I don't have to sell myself. In the military, it's we're all going to do this together. I got Brian with me. We're going to go together.
And then it becomes me.
It becomes I, and they don't know how to speak to I. And God bless them, they didn't have to.
Right.
But now they do. And it's scary because who's with me?
How about the home front, right? I know that you're working with spouses.
Yeah.
How did that genesis, and how's it going?
Spouses are amazing. I absolutely adore, and most of them are women. I'm not targeting just
Yeah.
most of them are women. I think we've had 2 men come through our program so far, and they're fabulous. But they undervalue themselves. Very often they've moved every 3 years for the career of their spouse, and they have to do all that home engineering stuff.
Yeah.
They have to, settle things into the home. They have to get the kids, if there's children involved, into new schools and into doctors and do all these things that when it comes right down to it, at the end of the day, there's very little left for them. So to have someone come in and say, you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. Let us help you find that dream. Not just that, what I was told growing up, you can be a secretary,
Yeah,
what do you
the
want
world's
to
completely
do?
different.
Yeah.
They're the pride of this country, and yet they need
Amen.
someone to tell them to be proud of themselves.
Yeah.
Which is what you're doing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. How can people help?
There's a lot of different ways. Time, talent, and treasure are
Yeah.
the 3 main ways that we talk about. Time, you want to get involved, you want to help military spouses, you want to help veterans or active duty. Look at our website, get a hold of us. We will get a hold of you to say you can volunteer at events. Financially, we would love to have you in that way as well. And there's something as simple as 24 for 24, a commitment of $24 a month for 24 months. And that makes a huge impact. Our veterans pay nothing to go through this program, and our business community pays nothing to hire them. So let me make that clear, whoever's listening, it's a poor business model. I understand that.
But what you're trying to achieve is an incredible outcome. 24 for 24,
Yeah.
I will be signing up today. And I hope other people will as well.
Oh, I hope so.
Operation New Uniform, you're my favorite. Thanks so much for coming in, Michele.
Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate
No
everything you
problem.
do.
Well, listen, we're always here trying to find our frequency. And we'll find you next time, right here.